I'd like to show you a new feature for Medisoft version 25, which is OCR scanning of insurance cards. This is building upon the ability that was added very recently to Medisoft to scan insurance cards into the policy tabs. So this should look somewhat familiar. And we just built the new functionality for OCR right on top of the scanning ability. So it may look very familiar to you. I've got a patient up, and I'm going to attach an insurance card to this patient. I can either scan a new card from my scanner and do it that way, or I can utilize some scans that I already have saved previously. That way, anything that you have done previously, you can still use. So let me construct a scan. We can do both front and back scanners. So if you have an older scanner that just does the front is one and the back is another, that's fine. We can put it together. Or if you have a duplex scanner, we can use that too. But I will show both. So I will construct one manually here first. And I will find the GHP up front. All right, so that shows as the front of my card. I'll select the back, and I'll bring that in. All right, so notice now I have both the front and the back, and it's got the dates on here. And after I did that, now this button highlights. It was grayed out previously. It says Get Card Data. This will initiate the OCR scanning of the insurance card. So let's press that. Once the data has been brought back, you'll see a validation screen. Let me enlarge this to make it easier to read. You'll be able to see the card that you sent, and then along the right side is the information that was scraped from that card. So it's advisable to just kind of scan through to make sure that everything is correct. There was no misrecognition, recognition. Also notice that there's, on this particular card, there's a primary copay and a specialty. We have both of those. So let's say if you're a dermatologist and you're always going to be picking the specialty copay, you can just click that and the 40 will come over versus the 25. So you get to just choose that. If there are multiple addresses on the back of the card for the insurance company, you will see the multiples and you can select the one you want. And also it has picked up 4 different phone numbers off the back. So you can decide which one that you would use for the practice. Let's use this 4470. So I'll just check that. Everything looks good. I'll click OK. And it's brought the information back into Medisoft. Notice in this area that was blank previously, it says scan data. It's brought over the patient's name and insurance. This is helpful for the next steps you need to go through because you'll need to make sure that you have the right insurance attached to this patient. This could be a change, or if this was a brand new patient, you'd want to add it. Also notice that previously these fields, insurance and policyholder and relationship, were not yellow. They turned yellow after the card came back because it's giving me a caution that data already existed here. So you may want to take a look at those to verify that what's in there previously is what you want to keep or that you'll want to change it to correspond with the card. Obviously, in this case, I had a Blue Cross in previously, and it's brought back Coventry, so it's turned yellow to let me know that I do need to check that. So let's say I want to do that. I've looked at my list and I don't have a Coventry, so I can just click a new. Maybe that's new insurance for me. It's brought over all of the data from the card already and filled in my insurance. So all I need to do is just scan that, take a look at it, hit save, and I have brought that insurance back into Medisoft and in for this patient. If the policyholder, in this case, obviously it's different because I'm using test data, but I could look up Robert Smith to see if he was in my data and put him in as a policyholder and also change the relationship if necessary. It has brought over the copay amount that I selected. If I had said that I wanted to keep the specialist 40, it would have brought the 40 over here. So it did bring that over too. If a deductible is listed on the card, that will also populate. You can do the same thing for policy 2 and policy 3. When you're scanning on those policies, notice there is no copay or deductible when you're not on policy 1. So when you do the scan, it won't even try to validate those. So don't think that it's missing if you're trying to do something not on policy 1. The logic's already built in that we're not bringing that back in for anything other than policy 1, so it's not even on your validation screen. But we'll stick with 1 for right now. So that's how I would to construct a insurance card that the front and the back were not already are separate, are not duplex. So let's go to policy 2, and I'll do the same thing, but this time I'll select a duplex card. So I'm going to load from a file. Again, you can freshly scan a card at this point. That's perfectly fine. And I will choose an Anthem that I have in here as a test. And here's something that's very important. Because this is a duplex, you do need to make sure to check this box, if it isn't already, that this is a duplex image. This will stay this way from this point forward, but the first time you go in to select a duplex image, you'll need to make sure that that is checked. Okay, it's brought over both the front and the back of the card. Only on the front. I don't need to scan the back this time. Because of that, the Get Card Data button is already highlighted, so I can click that and do the scan. As with the previous scan demonstration, we get a validation screen. So let me just open this up so we can read clearly what the image looked like and what was brought back from the card itself. Again, providers should be calling the 4321 number, so that's what I would check on this side. But everything else looks good, so I'll click OK. And it brings that back, this information back into, this time into policy 2, because that's where I started. Notice again the scan data is printed here just for your easy reference when you're selecting your insurance and your relationship to make sure that that it is appropriate. Once again, the fields highlighted in yellow because there was already information there, and it's just a caution to you that you might want to look at those to make sure that that there isn't something there that you need to change already. If they were blank and it was a new patient, you wouldn't see the yellow because you would just automatically accept what comes over. So that is there just to kind of help you. If you need to see the card again, you can always double click and look at the card, but hopefully everything you'll need is kind of summarized here on the screen under Scan Data. So that is the new OCR feature in Medisoft 25, being able to take an insurance card and scrape the data off and bring it back into Medisoft.